Okay, welcome guys. So we are live for another Zen pop-up, and today we are looking at funnel or webinar registration page. So I had a question come in from 𝗪𝗏𝗍, which I said I'd do a quick Zen pop-up for, and we're going to just have a look at that question now. So she's asking, is there a video about how to create a funnel for one live interactive webinar on New Zenler? What is the best way to do it? So my reply was that there's lots of ways that you could do this. It depends what you want to do. So I'm going to have a new live drawing class starting in August. This is Nat. So she's going to have a live drawing course starting in August, and on July the 26th I will have a interactive webinar. It will be free and we'll be drawing class at the end. I will invite, let me just read more. I will invite them into the course in August. So she's running a live. This is a classic case, like running a live and as a free event. And then she's like, right, okay, did you like that? You love that? Then take my course that's happening in August. So she's asking these following questions. What is the advantage of doing it with funnel versus creating a live webinar? Okay, so that first question is, with funnels, you have the ability to be able to add extra steps or extra pages. So if you're running people through something, you might have a lot of information, or you might want to do a series of videos telling them a bit about stuff before they go into the live. So it gives you that way of adding extra steps into the funnel. We'll look at that in a second, but it doesn't have to be that way. You could, if you don't want that kind of experience running through, you could just have them going straight to the page inside the live itself, which obviously is a lot easier to do. And it's probably, if you've already got a list, it sounds like you've already got people. So if that's the case, you'll probably want to cut out using a funnel and just go straight into the live, just send them to the registration page. It's free, there you go, buy it, get it for free, go in there and then do your upsell at the end of the live that you're running, which is what you're going to do. So question number 2, I wonder if after the live webinar I can still use the same funnel for them to watch the recording, or do I need a new class? Well, no, you don't need, you'll be locally recording it. Hopefully, you know, like when you start Zoom up, we haven't got cloud recording, so you make sure that you hit that recording button in Zoom just before you start. Okay, so then what will happen is that will download that to your computer. So you'll have the video on your computer. Now, what is a really good idea is that if you've got it in a course that you're going to be upselling to them, you could put that into the sales page of the course. You could also put it into the replay page and make sure in automations you've got that set up. That I normally do it a day later, so it gives me time to upload it, then the automation goes out and then they can go to the replay page, or inside the live, not using a funnel. Of course, you could use a funnel. You could put the video into the funnel. So you've got maximum flexibilities on which route you want to take, depending on what you want to do. But it sounds like you want to keep this really simple, really fast and efficient. I would say don't worry about marketing funnels. We have lots of videos on marketing funnels, how to create them. If you want to get more involved in marketing funnels and the way people go through things and see things, then yes, it's good. But for your particular case, Nat, I really think that it's just a case that you need to run the live interactive webinar, which we will set up. So I'll be taking you through some of these things anyway, so you can tell. But with the video downloaded, of course, you can put that on all your social media platforms. So you can set that on all your social media platforms, and you will then, hopefully, if you put the link in there, get people filtering through into the course. And you should do that. You should definitely do that, because you've pre-recorded it, it's media content. If it's out there, people will find it. They will go across to the course that you've got. And if it's after August, remember this, when you write your description for it, remember if to put in there, like this is happening on August, I haven't put the date in there, so let's just say August the 1st. After that event, if you want to sign up for the next class that I'm teaching, then sign up here and send them to a form. So you'll have 2 links, once to the live, if it's still live. If it's after it's finished, they've then got a link to go to a form where they become a lead, so you can then contact them. So you're basically getting the best out of that video. You're repurposing that video, and we've used that word repurposing quite a lot over the last 2 months. Pretty much all team members have mentioned about repurposing content, which you definitely should do. One, it saves you time, keeps it consistent, and means that you're getting the message out across those platforms. So it's all good. It doesn't take you time. So this is a thing that we're always trying to do. And then you put question number 3, which funnel video should I watch to do this? So you've got it set in your head that it's a funnel, but I really don't think that that's the route you want to be taking. So I'm going to be jumping into Zen pop-up now, the fake site that we've got that we use for testing purposes. And I'm going to flick to my screen share now. Bang. Let me just reduce myself down a little bit here. Let me just a little bit smaller there. Okay, so this is I did a Zen pop-up a little while ago showing you how you can do one-to-one live classes, so you can actually set your homepage up just if you're just running one-to-one classes. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the lives. So I'm going to go into the admin section of the site, and we're going to flick across to our admin dashboard. So here we go. So marketing funnels. The first thing you would do obviously is set your interactive live up. So you go into live, and let's go and set our interactive live. Now, what was the date you said? I think the 26th of July. So I'm going to go live interactive webinar, and I'm going to create a new one. Click that. We're going to go into here, and I'm going to call it free art class for aspiring artists. Okay, something like that. And I've got one date. I'm not going to set schedules. I'm not going to set reoccurrings. I've got one date to go for, so I'm going to set this for the 26th, which is next Tuesday. I'm going to set this for 12 AM, and I'm going to also select my time zone, which is London time zone, and the number of registrations. So I'll put 300 in there. And how long am I going to run it for? If I'm going to run it for an hour, I'll do it for an hour and 15. I'll just give myself that little buffer. So let's just say it's a 2-hour art class. I'm going to go 2:15. Okay, so just remember that. Then of course you would upload your course card into here. I haven't got a course card made up, so I'll just grab the calendar one I've got here. Just because, so you would upload your own one. You can create those on Canvas. Make sure the size is 1920 by 1080. Anything in that ratio will work for the course card. So 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. Okay, and do that in Canva. Design it all up, export it out, throw it into here, crop and save. Bang, done. So that is our course there. So the next thing I'm going to do is click next, and we're going to go in and design the page out. So I'm just going to use this classic one. We're just going to go finish, and it's going to set our pages up for us. Bang, 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 it's all done. So this is a register page, so you can put what you like on this register page. So imagine this as like if a marketing funnel, this would be page 1 of the marketing funnel, it would be the registering page, but they've opted in. See, and this is what I was saying to you. You don't need to go through loads of funnel steps to do this. So I'm going to show you funnels after I've set this one up. But we're going to go into edit now, and you're going to see that some of the dynamic content, I'm doing this really quick, guys. I will spend a bit more time on it, but for the sake of this, you're going to get the idea. So I've got my dynamic content coming in, which I'm not going to change those blocks for the sake of this video. I'm just going to keep it all clean, but you can change it if you wanted to. So if I wanted to, I could drop a new empty block in here. I could lay out more text in there. So let's just go in here and put a single row in there. Let's just go into here and go back to headings and choose this. It's free. Okay. And then I could make that bigger. Let's choose 55 in there. Let's clone this out. Register today to enter the live artists workshop. So I'm showing you how you can add more content to the block above or below it. So you can do what you like in there. So I can go in there and I can go into Canva, and we can choose a background image. I'm going to type in the word artist and see what comes up. Okay, so you got lots of nice art pick. Well, let's choose that one. It's nice. Don't know why I was drawn to that one. Let's just put that in there. Wow, pretty cool. So let's do an overlay on that. I'm going to do an overlay black, and I'm going to choose this text. I'm going to hash it into white. So I'm just showing you how you can customize this stuff to make it look better. As it's a kind of pink color, I'm going to go along that. Okay, so there. And then I could even put a little icon in here if I wanted to, so I can go to something like icons, and I'm going to choose arrow. So I'm kind of digressing a little bit here, but you know, it's all good stuff. So I'll put that in there. Got my little icon. I'm going to make this really big. Go into style, font size. Let's make this about 65, and I'm going to go and make it white. Bang. Okay. I'm also going to take this down in size to about 40, and I'm not going to make it bold. I'll make it regular, and now I can just drag this out a little bit. So I've got the eyes. I could even change the position of this inside here. At the moment it is image top left. I'm going to make it middle, top center. Oh, that's the lips. Make it center. Go a bit higher. So I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to drag this down to get the eyes in there. Whoa. Something like that. You know, so you could create your own block in there if you wanted to. Right, so with that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same with the dynamic block. So I'm going to delete this out, because that was just to show you how you could do that. So I'm going to do the same with this block. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab my background image that we just uploaded, which is that one. I'm going to put an overlay in that. In this case, I'm going to make it white, so I haven't got to change a lot inside here. So, ooh, sorry, hit the wrong button. Okay, overlay color. Let's go in and make it white. Increase that a little bit more. That looks really nice. So that's all in there. That gives you the count. I can change these colors if I want to. You know, play around with this stuff. Make it into a kind of, that looks nice. I don't think I want a border, so I'm going to turn that off. There we go, lovely. I'm going to take this top one. I don't want it like that blue, so I'm going to change the color of that and make it all into this color. Notice it saves that last color that you've got inside there. So there we go. We've made it all the kind of same color inside there. I'm going to go in, make this font size a bit bigger. Sometimes making it bigger causes problems with the thing, so I'm actually going to do 5. Pop in black, bold, and oops, this a bit bigger. Okay, and I have a pricing down there. Now we're having this as free, so I can go ahead and delete that block out. So now we have a registration page. So like I was saying, that you can go in here and you could put extra blocks in here if you wanted to. So if you want to put some extra information into this block, you can do that. You could just drop an extra block in there and have more information underneath. You know, you can style this up however you like inside here. So remember that. So I'm going to click save and save this out. And obviously I do my SEO settings in here. Make sure that you do those. Save it. And this would be your entry page. So people coming in to register would be going to this page. So if I preview this page, this is what we've got so far. So we've got this coming up. So this would be, without this question mark preview on, this would be my page to send people to. So they were coming in here, they would click register for free, they put their name, email, register, and they'd be in there. And that saves the problem of doing all the funnel steps, because even if you do a funnel, at the end of it, you've got to send them to this page to register into this funnel, okay? So making it easy, you can do it. You could take people in and have them as leads, and then you could manually go in and actually register them into the live. But we want to make this as simple as possible. Like I said, there's many ways to do things inside Zenler, so I'm trying to make things as simple as possible for you. So let me go back to this. I just want to do something with this block. I want to make it full width. That's going to spread it all out, which looks a bit better to me. Okay, so that's my page set up there, and I can now actually just get people in. So I can go to this page, sign up, and there you go. So if you were going to use a funnel, you'd have to send them that to page. So you'd have to set this live up anyway, and do make sure that you go through all the pages, like the register page. Make sure you're going through that. Make sure you save it. You're going to the register page. The thank you page, make sure you're going into the thank you page. So when that comes up, we're going to change that. Bit slow today, I think it's the heat. So in here, really quick, I'm going to do this really quick. So let's go in here, background image. Drag the background image in there. Oh, quite like that. We're going to go to a white, and there you go. I've kind of done it. I would change this color of this background color into a kind of purpley color there. Take the border away. When it begins, there you go, and save that. So I've now done the thank you page. Again, SEO it up. Go in here, waiting page. So let me just save this, make sure it's saved. Let's go to the waiting page. And you would go through all these pages, then you would set up your automations. So your automations, I'm hoping that you know about automations. Again, there's lots of videos on that. With the automations, you're sending it out from when they subscribe. So you're sending a message out to them saying when they subscribe. But I can quickly show you that as well. Run through it. Done it many times before. So we're going there. Just going through those procedures to do this. I don't want that on, so turn it off. And remember, once you've done this, you could clone this. So you've only got to do it once. You could just then change the name and everything else would follow suit. So I'll make this a little bit different. I'll choose that red. It's still going to work. And that. Again, you know, you go in, you make sure everything's consistent. So if you set this on 45 in something, then you need to set it in something else. And I also did it full width as well. So I'm just making sure everything's following suit. Oh, sometimes when you click it, it goes out. So I click that, just make this a bit bigger. I think I made it 35. Again, you would make sure it's consistent. Click save. So this is the waiting page. This gives them the countdown. Again, I would SEO this page. And there you've got the waiting time. So the last page would be the replay page, which I know you were talking about. So again, automation will go out after the event, normally one day, and they would get an email and the link will go to this page. So if we just save this, I will go to that last page in the kind of funnel, because it is a kind of funnel in here. You're going through a series of steps. So you could say that it's a funnel going through. It's not, we can't add extra pages, so it's not a true marketing funnel, but it's still a funnel. Any way that you're taking people on a little journey through something is a funnel. Even links in a page. So if you were linking from one page to another page to another page because articles were working together, that would be a funnel. So any kind of thing that's going on. So inside here, you're going to see that we have watch the replay. you've got a placeholder video. So you would have your video downloaded on your desktop. You would go to settings, you would go to settings in there, you would go to video URL, and you would upload your video. When you upload your video, it will then drop in there. So I'll give you an example. I think I've got one on my desktop. Let me just have a look. Yeah, I've got using Hootsuite. So if I click that and I click upload, it would then upload. So it's now uploading in there, and then that would drop in there. Please be aware that it probably needs maybe an hour or so just for it to process. So if it doesn't show straight away, it's just because it's processing the video. All right, so I'm going to just skip that, and just wanted to show you how you do it. So you can just replace that in there. Now, if you don't want to show replays with a live, you just delete it out and you put no replays. So if someone accidentally finds that page, it would say no replays. So I would put your replay of the live artists workshop. Okay, something like that. Then you can put an offer in there. So this is a really good place to put an offer. So you don't have to send an automation out or tell them. You can put the offer in there. So you would put something like love the live, take the course starting in August the 1st. Boom. And there we go. And then I'd put the link in there to the course. So you'd find the course, you would get the link for the course. So you would go into, sorry, I'm jumping around. So you would go into courses, you would find your course, let's say course A. I would go to page, and then I want them to go into course. I would grab the sales page URL. You can take them straight to the checkout, but I'm going to grab the sales page, and then I would put that into here. So all I would do is I've copied it and I would paste it into there. Now I've got an upsell at the end of it. So I can then go back to here, just style it up a little bit. Tend to make this a bit bigger. Put that in there. I want the text to be bigger for this. 5. I'm going to make it width. Maybe a bit too big. Let's say 20. Okay, something like that. Always make it a little bit bolder because it will stand out to people. And then I want to put a little bit of padding and stuff around it. So I'm going to put some padding. Oh, sorry. Let's reduce that. Let's take this across. Let me just go back. I must admit, sometimes I prefer to make these blocks up myself, just because I've got full control. So I go empty block down here, drag that in, and I literally delete stuff out. So I just come in here, drag it down here. Sorry, I'm a bit off my game today. Let's go in drag a row, go into here. I prefer to create all my own stuff rather than using some of the blocks that are already in there. So I go something like that, and I'd add a new single row in there where I drop a video. We got the placeholder video there, so I could use that. That's quite nice. Quite like that. Take that off. Okay, so I get this edge and make it a bit bigger. This is just what I do. You can use the default blocks in there if you want to make your life really simple. Or let's grab a YouTube video. Let's grab my calendar YouTube video. It's in there, ready to go. grab that embed. Oh, don't need that embed. Copy. Embed code, drop that in there, add. Bang, videos in there. And then I would set up my own button. So I do a row again. Notice I'm putting it in rows sometimes to break. You don't have to always do that, but if you've got one row here and then 2 rows here because you want to adjust this width, then I put a row underneath it, and then I put a row. I want this to be 1 width because I want it to be a nice big button. Let's go and grab this text from here. Make life simpler. So you can take everything you've got and you can change it around. This is what I love about Zenler. You can just go in there and change all this stuff up. I don't want the border thickness there. And that looks nice. Maybe I want to push it in a little bit. In here. Leave it. I'm going to move it actually. I'm going to move it under this row. There we go. So it's in line. So that looks a lot better to me. So now I've basically bypassed that whole top block so I could delete it out. Grab that URL. Make sure that you've got it. And you need to test this stuff, guys. You know, you definitely need to test it. So let's click that. I haven't quite finished because I want to do it in the same style as everything else. Just I'm funny that way. Now background. Okay, is it full width? No. So this is where this row comes in really handy. I can bring this in. It's going to bring the content in, so it's not too big. That looks good. I'm going to bring this up a little bit as well, and I'm going to bring this down a little bit in here. I can drag it. So now I've got a replay page. So once I've got my uploaded video, or my uploaded video on my computer, I can go into settings. I can go into here. I can click in here, and I can upload that video, same as we did before. But now I've got a replay page, and that's what you were talking about. So I'm going to click save to that, and that is done. So you would need, right, if you're going to use a funnel and then you're going to use a live, you've got to go through the whole process of designing not only the funnel, but all of this as well, which is, you know, quite time consuming. I've done this fairly quickly, but even so, it's taken a bit of time, and I know what I'm doing with this. So if you're, I would urge you to go on the side of caution and probably just use the live and just use that sales page. So I'm now finished on this. I'm going to click save, and we're going to go and have a look. So I'm going to have a look at marketing funnels just quickly. I just want to show you, if I create a marketing funnel, I've got 2 types, lead magnet or video series funnel. So you haven't got any videos, you want to send people to the live. So you'd be using a lead magnet. So you click next, and then you would call this artists free course live, and then you would, we don't need to add a freebie or a product course to be launched at the end. You could, but we're going to the live. We're not launching something at the end. We're launching it in the live itself or in the replay page. You wouldn't do it in here because it's before they've taken the live, if you understand what I mean. So I click next, then you choose your funnel type. I would just choose this one. Just going to click finish, just any old funnel type. Now what it'll do is it'll set up some steps. So it will set up an opt-in page. So you're going to have to set that opt-in page. You're then going to have to retake that registration when they land on the registration page. Yeah, when they go on that registration page, they're going to have to fill their details in again. So it's going to be a bit of a pain. So I would not use the funnel method. I mean, funnels are great. If you've got a series of steps you want to take people through, it's great because look, I can clone steps. So I can add steps in. I can move steps around into different orders, but I'm planning their path through there. Now, all you're trying to do is get people to see what it's about and then get them to sign up because it's free. That's your thing. You want to put that free live class in front of their faces straight away. You don't want to sort of warm them up going through a funnel. You're kind of like just putting them into that registration page where all the information is, that you could put at the top of the page, just like you would with a funnel. You know, you could put extra information at the top of this registration page like I showed you. You could take that new block, put it in there. You could then write information about that and design it like you would the funnel page. But what's great about this is they're in the live, so they just click register and then they're in there straight away, and then they'll turn up for the live class. The replay page can have that upsell button to get them to go across to August. You can also mention it inside the live itself, and you can use that content to post it on social media platforms like YouTube, all your social media platforms. You could even send an email broadcast out and link to that video on YouTube, so they could go in there with a link going through here. So it all goes back to your course that's going on in August. So hopefully that is really clear for you, Nat. I think I've covered all the bases. I was mentioning about the automations in here as well. So I'm going to close off the funnel, because I think you sort of get that. And we're going to go into the live interactive webinar here and into here. So you need to make sure that you're planning out your automations. So your automations will be from registration. So you're going to tell them inside here. We've kind of like done it for you a little bit. We've said as soon as they've registered, they'll get an email, tells them the website host, topic, scheduled time, join link. They can add it to their calendar, and then you can add as many automations as you like. So what I suggest is you add an automation for the day after the live. You add another automation in here, and you give them a link to the replay page in that automation. So basically when the live finishes, as soon as it finishes, this is what I do: process that video, okay, put your branding on the front and the back, put it together, render it out, produce it out, upload it straight into the replay page, okay, and then you'll know, because one day later, 24 hours later, the email is going to go out sending them to this page for registration, and that's the link for that page. So you just need to copy that link and put it into that automation. That will fly out to them. They'll click it, go into the replay page, watch it at their leisure. They've got the upsell at the bottom, and you've already mentioned it in the live and probably given out a link in the chat, and they will go through. So let me know if that's helped you. I think I've covered everything I can possibly think of with that, and that's it. So let me go back to me and let me have a look in the group, see if there's anyone watching. I don't think there is as many people today. I'm going to tag Nat into this. Oh, this is so timely. So I've got Julia. Julie, good to see you. Yeah, have a look at that and see what you think. So I know it's like a little bit confusing, but marketing funnels are normally ways that you kind of warm people up going through, or you're sending them on a journey. Now, if you've got one singular goal to send them to, you're doing a live, you don't really need that. You can just go straight into it. Don't get me wrong, there are certain times where it's good to use a marketing funnel. Like, for instance, if I was giving out some pre-information, I had a PDF on what you need to do to prepare for the live, then I could have a page. They register, they go into the first step of the funnel. You've got a download link for the PDF so they can get prepared. Then it goes to the next page. Now register for the live if you want to take part, and then you send them into it. Then yes, it will work. But even that you could do inside the registration page. You know, even that you could put it into that registration page. You could have a block in there that says you're going to need this information, download this information. They can download it from that page. So even that you could do. So I think the idea behind it, what I'm trying to get at, is keep it simple. You know, keep it ultra simple, because you want people just to go in there, go, right, okay, I want to attend this live event. I've read information about it. Now I'm going to register, and now I'm going to leave and I'm going to go off to work, or I'm going to eat my lunch, and they'll get an email coming. Oh, great, it's the free class. I'm going to go on there, and they've booked it on their calendar as well, and it's all good. You know, it's simple. I think overcomplicating things is the single most problematic thing for new course creators, or course creators, even experienced course creators, are making things far too complex for themselves. They're just jumping through hoops trying to do too complex things, where is it going to raise the conversion? That's all you've got to think about. Is by me setting up like a 10-page funnel, is that going to raise my conversion? It's like, if it isn't going to do it, don't do it. I mean, there are instances where funnels are brilliant. Pre-recorded content, for instance, you can put videos in there. So I'll give you an example of that. I've done it for one of my sites. I'll actually show it to you if I can find where I'm not on this. Let me just, I've done a funnel that's actually got a series of videos. Now it's a beginner course. It's a beginner course in using a program. And let me just, I'm going to have to log out of this account. I'll be screen sharing in just 1 second. Got to be very careful because obviously it's a live site. I've got a lot of email addresses in there, so I need to be really careful with this. So I'm going to be sharing in a second. And I'll show you where a funnel can be really effective. And this will hopefully just will be clear because there's a lot of information in there, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to get across, that if you've got a lot of information to get across, or you're trying to warm people up to you with pre-recorded content, then marketing funnels are absolutely ideal. I personally use this one like a mini course. So it's very powerful, very effective. I've got it here. I'm just going to go into that in a second. Let me just preview the funnel. Right, let me just go into funnel steps and preview 2, and I'll be sharing this in a second. Okay. Okay, right, I'm ready. Okay, let me just share this. So let me go to screen share. So here we go. So this is a marketing funnel. This is done in Zenler. Everything's done in Zenler. So with this particular one, it's ZBrush, free beginner's guide. This ZBrush course will take you through the basics of the course. Okay, so this is a funnel. So inside here, I take their name, I take their email. That's the most important thing for me because it means I can contact them later. So once they sign up, they will then go to this page. And I don't send them straight into the funnel, because I can get, if I got, for instance, someone put a fake email address in there and it took them straight into the first step of the funnel, what that means is they'll get all my content for free without registering a legitimate email address. Okay, so I always go, thank you, an email's being sent, and it's a link to the training. So they'll get that email, they'll click the link, and they'll go through to this page, start the training. I've got my training here, and I've got next lesson. So we go through these lessons, and you're going to see that it will alternate between colours. Lesson 2, click it again, lesson 3, lesson 4. It's automated, it runs them through, it tells them a little bit of information about that particular video. It's not particularly long, and then they run on to the next video. And right at the end of this, I have an upsell. So I have an upsell going into my courses. Now, there's quite a few videos. It is a fairly thorough beginner's guide on using ZBrush. What does this do for me? Why would I give so much content for free to my users? 2 reasons. 1, I capture the all-important email address of new users. All of these videos I can post out on my social media channels and get people coming into this to register. The other thing is it means that I do not have to do a beginner section on all of my training videos. If someone comes into one of my intermediate courses or my advanced courses, I will turn around and they have a question like, oh, I don't know anything about ZBrush. I will send them straight to the funnel. Bang, they'll learn it for free. Wow, you know, I'm getting this stuff for free. When you're ready to go into the course that you've just bought, pick it back up. So it's making my life really easy for me. It's helping me, although it's free content given away. It's making my life so easy. It means I don't have to, what I was doing before is I was doing ZBrush courses, and at the beginning of it, because I want to capture beginners, intermediate, advanced users, I want to capture the whole gamut. So I was having to do beginners basics on every single course I was doing, and it had to be associated with the course, so I couldn't even just use the same material. So this way, as separating out, I've saved myself a ton of time. So although it's took me time to do this, and not very long, sort of a day, it means that I have got all this stuff going through. So if we go through these, I'm not really sure even how many lessons I put in here. This is up to 17. So most of you might thinking, God, even my courses are not this long. But this is what I do to ensure. So here we go. So now we've got the full 1 hour. So free beginner's guide, and it's now going into where I kind of upsell stuff. So I'm now ready for more. See the courses, pre-register for the bio course. This is a pre-registered website. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how marketing funnels could be used really effectively, depending on what you want to do. Now with marketing funnels, there's a ton of different things you can do. Some people give away free PDFs, you know, simple PDFs or PDF templates, just to capture people's emails. I use it for a different purpose. I use it for training and capture. So I'm trying to do 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm trying to make my life easy as well. So you've seen how I use it. Now, like I was saying, that yours is a much simpler approach. You don't need to go through the funnel route. I don't think personally. I think it's easier just to send them straight into the registration, include all that information in the registration page, or it's called a registration page, but let's face it, let's call it a sales page, a sales and sign up page. That's what you're creating inside that page. So hopefully that has been of use to you. I'm just going to look to see if anything's coming into the chat. I can see Julie's still here, or she might have shot out. But guys, if you're watching on replay, #replay, tell me where you're from. Nat, give me your feedback on this as well. And that's me out for another Zen pop-up. And that one was 41 minutes. I'm trying to do these in 10 minutes, but sometimes you just can't. So guys, take care, and I will see you very soon for another Zen pop-up.